Hi guys, it's April and I garden down in southeast Nebraska, zone 6A, and it is time for another garden tour. Normally, I like to do these things on Friday, but the last couple of weeks we're set up for thunderstorms on Friday, so we're doing this on Thursday again, and maybe Thursday might become my new day for doing garden tours, which is fine as long as I've got some kind of documentation on how this garden is growing and changing. This week I did manage to find some time to get at least the pumpkins and a few of the other squash out into the garden. I still have a few that are sitting in pots over here. I might get a few more of them planted out today, but not all of them are in a spot where they're big enough to be planted out. But I'm hoping by the end of next week I'm not going to have anything over in this nursery section, which means I should probably start you out by checking out what is underneath my feet right now. So these are the plants I'm talking about, not the ones in pots back here, but everything in these nursery pots up front. I'm still waiting on a few things to sprout, but for the most part, everything has sprouted. I wait until the squash and the pumpkins have at least one true leaf out before I attempt to plant them out into the garden, because otherwise I might do more damage to them than necessary. But it's looking like the sunflowers and the zinnias are about to the spot where I can plant them out. I just need a day that isn't ridiculously hot, and we haven't gotten that yet this week because there's so many of them. And then for the next several days, we're probably gonna get so much rain. So I'm waiting to do some of this. It looks like I can probably do that zucchini right next to all the zinnias. That could be planted out anytime now. And then I've got a butterkin and a honey nut that I want to get out as well. But I am down to only 4 extra tomato plants at this point, so that's exciting. I did managed to pot up a bunch of those tomato plants and gave a few to a friend of mine, and I have a few more that are in pots next to me, and I'm going to walk over there and show you those next. I'm not 100% sure how they're gonna do, but they're all from the Dwarf Fred line of tomatoes, and we're gonna just experiment this year of setting tomatoes on the landing of my deck. So these are the tomato plants I was telling you about. We've got the Fred's tie-dye, the wild Fred, and I believe over there is the brandy Fred. And right in front of it, right there, is a pumpkin. But I've never really had tomatoes in pots right here before, so I don't know how much heat or anything else they're gonna have to deal with. But I really, really wanted to try this out, because if these get big and bushy, it could look kind of cool with these 3 tomatoes right here. And since I'm already over here, I'll probably quickly show you this area, which hasn't changed a whole lot except for the new tomatoes. The calendula and the basil are starting to fill in, which is nice. I've got, looks like a second cabbage here that is starting to go to seed, which means I should probably pull the cabbage that is here and maybe make some coleslaw and then freeze the rest for maybe soups and whatnot. But I did do my first real harvest of these sugar snap peas. Looks like I need to go and do round 2 because we've got some big ones in there again. I love how you can just see these guys without having to try. It's usually why I don't do green peas, because I'll lose them on the vine. But like the purple and these chartreuse ones, I'm enjoying quite a lot. And in good news, the purple onions are starting to really fill in. I may have lost about half of them. Not entirely sure why, but it might just be the placement in this bed that they're just not exactly happy with. And it does look like my spinach is starting to go to seed. I took a huge harvest off of this the other day and put it in the freezer. I'll probably do another round of that. Maybe make a spinach salad sometime in the next couple of weeks. And then I'll have to start thinking about putting in some summer spinach, because the heat is going to start getting to everything. You can kind of see something weird happening with my garlic. I don't know if it's because this bed doesn't get hit with a lot of the rain and all of that like everything else does because of the overhang, unfortunately. I might have to go through and give them a little extra fertilizer the next time I fertilize to kind of give them a little bit of a boost. But that garlic just doesn't look happy. And I'm not gonna walk in there, but you can see some of the peppers. The second one is bouncing back, and then I've got some cabbage there. That's looking really, really good. I guess I do have to go back there because I have something special to show you. So on this side of the bed, I've started pulling out most of the lettuce, and I've added in a new tomato plant. This is the extra Roma plant I had. He's never done extremely well, but I figured I'd give him a chance over here to see if he'll do anything. So that's new. And then if we walk this way, you can see right here, I have some of my smaller pumpkins. I believe one's a baby boo and the other one is a casparita. So they should be small white pumpkins. So eventually I'm hoping they'll climb up here, maybe branch out a little this way, and then we'll start getting those cute little adorable pumpkins that we can paint for Halloween and such. And interspersed in the dill, you can see a candy roaster on this side. If we go up and over, we have the abominable on this side, which is, yes, another white pumpkin. I'm doing lots of white pumpkin this year, but I'm kind of excited about it. And I will be harvesting some of this dill today. Not all of it, just some of it. I'm hoping this dill, since it's so close to the pumpkin, will completely confuse all of the squash bugs and everything else. So my pumpkins have more of a chance of actually hitting maturity. Over here, we've got this set. I did go through and clean up a lot of these plants the other day, but it looks like I missed some. But these guys still looking rough in spots, but really starting to fill out their leaves, along with all of the other pots over here. I'll just give you a quick view of all of them. So those are the pots around the fire pit. Here you can see that the grapes, and then that guy, and then that guy, and that guy are starting to do really good. I might have to start training the bigger grapes. And then all the way down there, you can see the green of the kiwi, which is exciting. Otherwise, we've got the hollyhocks and the milkweed and the butterfly weed all waiting to flower. And then interspersed, we've got some of that really pretty Sweet William, and then a little Veronica just hidden right back in there. I need to do a little bit of weeding of some of the milkweed that is trying to escape. But I am really, really liking how these Romas are starting to really fill in They're starting to stand up straight, and we're getting offshoots on the sides. This right here is some volunteer carrots that I'm just letting go, because when I get to the carrot beds, you'll see what I mean. But yeah, the Roma bed's looking good. And then here I tucked in a zucchini, and right here I want to do either the butterkin or the honey nut. I haven't decided which, but this is the jalapeno bed. And then we've got the spicy peppers all right here. And we do have the start of a poblano. But yeah, some of these still looking like twigs, but you can see where they're starting to come back, which is good. Here we've got a couple of the dwarf tomatoes and the eggplants. They are getting bigger, which is, it's hard to tell day by day that these things are getting bigger, but that is why I do these videos, because I believe these guys were about half the size they are now when I planted this whole bed out. Plus we've got our volunteer bean plant just living life. And this is one of the beds I was just hinting at with the carrots. You can see some of the carrots coming up, but they're coming in really spotty. And part of that is because a lot of these daikons and beets and radishes kind of shading out parts of it. I did a massive harvest of a lot of the daikons and the radishes in both of these pink beds. The other ones, of course, over there, because they were starting to go to seed and they were filling in so much that, yeah, the carrots here, they haven't been getting much of a chance. And I'm hoping as I start pulling out those radishes, they can start filling in a little bit more, and some of the seeds that haven't germinated yet may start germinating. I think I screwed up with how I decided to plant up this bed. We'll see how many carrots I actually get this year. I mean, I wanted to try something new, and I thought it would be cute and they'd just be harvested and growing at different times. But I don't know. This was an experiment that I don't know if it actually worked or not. But the bunching onions here are looking really good. We've got a random volunteer calendula that's just like, I'm gonna be right here. Good luck to you. And then the herbs. Look at that cilantro. That cilantro, I think, is starting to bolt. I'll have to see if there's parts of that I can still harvest that haven't gone bad. Dang it. That just happened like overnight. We still got some stevia, and the sage is looking good, but I think the cumin is just gone, which is fine. I don't think I'm gonna try cumin again for a while. But look at those potatoes. Those potatoes are looking mighty, mighty fine. So I think we're gonna get a nice harvest of potatoes this year. You can see the fountain going in the background there. And then the flowers that are starting to open up. If you come over here, you can see some of the zinnias are starting to bloom, and that's just going to be the first wave. Otherwise, we have these sunflowers and one tomato plant. The basil definitely bounced back, which I'm happy for. And then we have all of these tomatoes that are looking good. And this is the second pink bed that I was telling you about. I might have to pull this radish too. I was hoping I wouldn't have to give at least a section of blooms in this area, but Between the beets that are doing really well over here right now, I've got maybe like 1, 2, possibly 7 carrots that are actually coming up. And the other part is some of these carrot seeds were pretty old, so it might be a combination of how I planted out the root beds and the age of the seeds, but carrots are just not doing the best. But what is doing good is some of my cucumbers and these runner beans. I did not expect these runner beans to just pop up and get so big so quickly, because my cucumbers have been really slow to take off. Over there is a zucchini I planted out. I am thinking about putting the other squash that I don't put in that first bed I was talking about right here, to give it a chance to overflow this direction, since I have so much mulch area that it can grow into. I did do my first harvest of thyme the other day. I made some bread rolls, some thyme bread rolls, and it was really good. And then we have this tomato bed, which is filling in nicely. And that brings us to this tomato bed, which I do need to do some weeding in most of these beds. I'll probably do it between rainstorms this weekend, because it'll be really easy to pull those all up. And then we have this last bed where you can see the bok choy is, well, that one's definitely done, but I've only got a couple bok choy left, and I'll be pulling those out next week and planting in the rest of the squash right in here. So I'll have at least 1 zucchini and 1 vining squash of some kind over here as well. These cabbages are looking like they're still doing okay, so I'm going to leave them for a little bit. I do have these sweet peppers that the tops look a little damaged from all of the winds they are privy to, but I think they're going to fill in quite nicely. Just like this guy right here, who I have been monitoring and trying to weed around for the last couple of weeks. It's coming back, so I'm excited about that. And you can see over here, we do have some Lesia peppers starting to form, which I am very, very happy about. But yeah, all of that is the garden as it stands right now at the, or nearing the end of May. Crazy volunteer dill and cilantro and all. I do believe this is my last May garden tour. After this, we're entering June, and June and July is when things really start to explode. So it'll be interesting to see how everything just takes off and really starts filling in. If you'd like to see how this garden continues to grow and change, I highly recommend you subscribe down below, hit the bell, do all the things to get all of the notifications. I like to do these garden tours at least once a week, so I have records to look back on how things are growing and changing, because otherwise, I mentioned earlier that it doesn't feel like much is happening, but when you look back from one week to the next, you can really start seeing the change happen, which is why I have started this YouTube channel in the first place. Otherwise, I do have an Instagram and Threads account, which you can check me out over there as well. I do like to post photos of what I'm harvesting and what I am making, so you can kind of see what I do with this garden and why I have a garden that is the way it is, I guess. Otherwise, I do hope I will see you guys again in another video, and I heart your beautiful faces. Bye.